I immediately kicked you then, didn't I? I'm really sorry about that. I promise you that wasn't on purpose. How are we doing, guys? Cool. Well, I'm Jim. It's lovely to be here. Before we begin, I have a little bit of news from my life to share. A little while ago, I got engaged. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you, but that's not actually the news. What I was going to say is if anyone here is thinking about getting engaged, I do have a ring I need to sell. Because I'm not engaged anymore. Clearly, one very unsatisfied customer already. That feels harsh in a vulnerable moment, I have to say. But yeah, I've got to be honest. I'll do it for a good deal because nobody wants a second-hand engagement ring. Possibly because it sounds like the sort of thing you might need as an ingredient in a curse. So yeah, I'm back to square one, having to start again, and I don't find that particularly easy because I'm not really what you call an alpha male. I have definitely slept with more women than I've had sex with. But you learn, don't you? You learn from things like this. You learn a lot about yourself. I had a very difficult time coming out of that situation, and I learned a lot. I learned that we're getting better in this country at acknowledging that some mental health issues can be as debilitating as physical disabilities. And I've also learned that being caught using a disabled toilet by a wheelchair user is not the time to express that view. But we grow in our own ways, don't we? So I did what you do after a breakup. I moved into a weird flat with a dickhead landlord. Does anyone live in a weird flat with a dickhead landlord? Yeah, just a few of you. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's good. So, it's just, they're a fucking nightmare. They're one of those landlords where they pretend to be morons so they don't have to do anything. And my radiator vibrates, right? And obviously, that's not going anywhere good, is it? So I thought, I'll try and fix that. And I thought I'd made a breakthrough. A lady called Kathy from the letting agent, she called me up and she goes, "Hi, Dean," which is not my name. And then she goes, "I found a plumber to come and look at the radiator." I'm like, "Oh, brilliant, great, finally a little bit of a breakthrough." And then she burped. And I don't mean like a sort of little swallow a hiccup, try and disguise the fact that you've done it. Full on Henry VIII, proud of his own flatulence, like, blah, just awful. And so I'm still reeling from that. And she goes, "So what I'll do is I'll send the plumber your number and you guys can take it from there." And then she hung up on me, sent me my own number, and that's the last I heard of it. So... yeah, got new neighbours in the summer as well. Very cocaine-y boys. Oh, such cocaine-y boys. They love it. They're doing it all the time, and I hear it because they've got a balcony that's pretty much under my bedroom, right? And I know they're cocaine-y boys because I've heard one of them going, "You know what? Like, I'm just going to go straight to work tomorrow. I'm not going to go to bed. There's no point. Like, I know I can do my job on cocaine. I'm amazing at my job. I've done it so many times. Of course I can do my job on cocaine. I'm amazing at my job, right?" Three things about this, right? Firstly, of course you think you're amazing at your job if you're doing it on cocaine, right? It's cocaine, isn't it? It's Viagra for your idea of you, right? Secondly, that's not cocaine, is it? Cocaine doesn't exist anymore. It's been cut to fuck from the Amazon to here. It doesn't exist anymore. That is brick dust, dental anesthetic, and the cremated remains of police informants, right? That is... the only reason people think it's still cocaine is they wake up and go, "Yeah, that must have been good coke because I feel like shit." That's how it works, isn't it? And thirdly, right, if you're that confident that you're good at your job, that you can do your job on drugs without anyone noticing or your performance slipping at all, do it on acid. Would love to see that, just for a week, for the financial sector to swap cocaine for acid. See how good you are with numbers when they're flaming hieroglyphics. Chasing you around the office, spelling out Daddy's expectations. Oh, God. So, yeah, I'm annoyed with cocaine because a friend of mine has a bad problem with it, and it's left me in a situation where I need to organise a stag do and an intervention for the same person. And I really don't know what order that you do that in. But actually, I do have faith that not all engagements last, so it should be all right. Maybe I'll get away with it. So, yeah. I'm sort of, I know that I need to sort of look into sort of like love again and accept that I need to find love again, but I'm a bit scared of it, to be honest. I'm scared that, I'll get engaged, I'll get married, and this will happen again. I don't want to end up like some sort of forlorn Sonic the Hedgehog, mindlessly running around collecting rings that he realistically has no practical use for. That's not what I want my life to be. Because, we're not really educated about love, are we? We learn about it from things like Love Actually, and that gives us weird ideas about how love works, especially men, right? Because we all know people that consider themselves to be a hopeless romantic, right? Like, that's a good thing. Kind of people that go, "Oh, my God, I'm just such a hopeless romantic," like, I fall in love on the bus every single day, do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You mean that you stare. I mean, that you stare at women and you force them to worry about whether or not you might follow them home. It's not romantic, is it? You're not Colin Firth because you're holding your Kindle rather than your penis. I know about this as well. I'm speaking from a position of hypocrisy because obviously that's the thing. It just happens sometimes, doesn't it? If somebody catches your eye, they catch your eye. You can't help look at them. So what I do is I look away immediately, and then to show that I'm like a really good guy, I'll have a little sneak back to see if they've seen me not looking, but they've always seen you not looking. So yeah. So obviously, you got to look at other sort of ways to understand love as well. You know, you can't just look at movies. Like a parent's relationships are a real sort of model for how we base our own relationships. And your mum and dad's relationship, as gross as it is, it's kind of the model that we use, isn't it? And I've not learned a huge amount about love from my mum and dad, particularly my dad. He's quite closed off. He will express love to my mum, but he does it by saying things like, "You do know, if anyone ever hurt you, I'd kill them. Happy birthday." I'm amazed that the bakery will even make such an aggressive cake. Every year they do it. So yeah, that's a weird old time, isn't it? People, after a breakup, people try and tell you to be positive, and that's, it's well-meaning advice, but it's not always the best advice, right? Actually, I think you've got to lean into the moping, right? You've got to go with the sad bits, because you'll try and be positive, but it won't work out. You just end up sat about in your pants, procrastinating. I got really into box sets of wine. It's not a box, though, is it? It's a bag. We all know that. It's a bag of wine. The box just slows you down, right? The bag makes the whole thing portable, which is the best thing about it. But we, as a society, are missing out on that because we've decided that it's not acceptable to suck wine from a bag with a tap on it. And I say in 2019, why the hell not? So yeah, a very anxious person. All kinds of different things make me anxious. I'm worried that I'm a bad person for no real reason. But there's a term within the psychiatric community for worrying that you're a bad person for no real reason, which is Catholicism. But I'm not Catholic. I wasn't raised in any sort of religious way. When I say I feel like I worry I'm a bad person, I don't mean I'm some sort of disgusting, terrible, irredeemable wretch like Kim Jong-un or David Walliams. I mean more like I feel like, I should just do more for the groups I care about. I talk a good game, but, I don't do enough. Like, I went on a gay pride march once, but if I'm completely honest, it's because I used to live in Brighton, I needed milk, and it was on the way. I'm not exactly giving up my bone marrow for that one, am I? So, yeah. I worry about the state of the world as well. Obviously the world's falling apart, and it looks like we're going to have to just cut back on the way we live. And that's going to be weird, especially for single people, right? Because if we have to go back to a time before smartphones, that's going to be so strange for single people, right? Because, like our parents' generation, or even before that, a lot of the time they used to meet in supermarkets, right? How weird is that they would meet in supermarkets? Our generation, they don't know how to do that. What do? Like just pick up an aubergine and go, to somebody? Not equipped for that at all. But obviously this is an opportunity as well to just have some new experiences as well. So I've decided to try and become a sex person. Do you have any sex people here? Just one over there. One over there as well. It should work out well for you guys. You know what I mean by sex people? The type of people where like they have a threesome on the way to work, and they act like you're a weirdo because that doesn't happen to you. Sex people, people that have threesomes. Anyone here have threesomes? It's not me trying to set one up. I mean, I'm not doing that, but it's not my sort of primary motivation. People that have threesomes, they always say the same thing about them, right? Which is like, you know what it's like with threesomes. Just sort of happen, don't they? And they really fucking don't, do they? Like, I have done a lot of different things this week, and at no point has a gangbang just erupted underneath me because I happen to be sat in a trio. Right, Liverpool, you've been absolutely lovely, as you always are. My name is Jim Campbell. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much. Wow.